on the record in the case of the People versus Jakari Carlisle. Appearances, please.
Rachel Land on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Jonathan Hinson on behalf of Mr. Jakari Carlisle.
And have both sides received the probation officer's recent investigation report regarding Mr. Carlisle?
Yes, Your Honor.
Fantastic.
Either side would like to be heard, Mr. Hinson.
Yes, very briefly. To address the report. First, I'd like to start off by saying that this is a terrible tragedy. There are 2 young lives cut short tragically, injuries. We realize that the defendant has been found guilty by a jury, and it's this court's responsibility to pronounce judgment. But before we
Rialto Police Department, this is Liz. How can I help you?
There's a head-on collision right here in front of the school.
Okay.
4 kids in each car.
4 kids in each car? Okay.
And they just hit.
What's the name of the school, hon?
The school is Carter High School.
Carter High School. Do you know the address to the school?
No, I don't know the address, but I just know there's a car accident right now. Can you please come?
Okay, where exactly is in front of Carter High School? Because Carter High School is a big school.
It's in front. It's between the Birdsall Park and in front of the school.
Okay? Hello, you guys okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? You got a possible fatality over here, guys. Possible fatality over here.
Yeah, excellent. You over there, what's your name?
Mr. Floyd, I'm Melinda from the Sheriff's Department of Deputy Coroner, and there was a traffic accident in front of your daughter's school today, and we believe your daughter has deceased. We would like you to come and do a positive ID with her. Are you willing to do that? Okay. Come this way.
We'll see you in Rialto. We're going to get some such as this.
This is her.
Do you have anybody here with you, sir? No one can stay with you?
We're taking Jakari into custody for a felony DUI, and if he's had a prior or he's been to some schools where they teach you about DUIs, then it could be a vehicular homicide, and that's between 6 and 10 years in state prison. So Mr. Jakari is going to be taken into custody. He's going to be placed to a police car, and he's going to be taken to the police station to be processed and booked. And from the police station, he's going to go to West Valley and wait to see the judge. And this demonstration just shows you that this is exactly what happens on a fatal crash. When someone's intoxicated and a crash occurs, they do get thrown in the police car, they do get taken to the police station, and they do get booked into West Valley, and they are charged with vehicular homicide. Say goodbye, Jakari.
This is a trauma activation. We have 5-minute ETA by air. 17-year-old female, motor vehicle accident, major damage.
Here we go. Go ahead. Blood pressure again?
Blood pressure's dropping.
All right.
Chest tubes in.
Chest tubes in. We have air coming out. Okay, blood.
Blood's out.
Okay, so again blood.
Yeah.
Okay, how much is coming out?
Not responding now.
All right. Okay, start. Check pulses.
There's no pulses.
Okay, fluid's going. Start CPR.
Everybody's clear? Shock?
That's it going in. Huh? Okay, it's connected to suction. Okay. How much blood is coming out?
Lots of blood. About 700.
Is that blood here yet? We need that transfusion. Blood's running. All right. Anything?
Systole.
All right. We're gonna call it. It doesn't look good.
Time of death? 10:27.
Are you the mother? Fortunately, I have bad news to report to you. She was in a severe car accident today. She came in, she was in shock. We tried what we could do, chest compressions, we got intubations. We had, low vitals, low blood pressure. Unfortunately, all of our resuscitative efforts.
So?
We didn't go, so sorry to tell you she passed away.
My baby.
We ask that this court sentence Mr. Carlisle to only the mitigated term as opposed to the aggravated term, keeping in mind, of course, that he has to live with the consequences of his decision for the rest of his life. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Henson. Ms. Land.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll agree with Mr. Henson. It is a tragedy. We have two 16-year-old girls, Danielle Floyd and Camellia Love, who on that day were going about their business. Here comes a defendant crossing over double yellow lines. He was at a .16, double the legal limit. He's 18 years old. I understand he has no prior record. He has done all the things that Mr. Henson has claimed he has done. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that he made more than a few bad decisions. And these, while few bad decisions have dire consequences, what about the victims' families? Those are two lives that are cut short. They have two families that now have to go on without their daughters. And in this case, there were potentially 8 victims in this case. The victims were the drivers and the passengers of vehicle number 2. They had 2 other passengers in the back who thankfully escaped with minor injuries, and the defendant himself had 3 other occupants in his car. There would have been potentially 4 in each car, potentially 8 victims in this case. And we have now we have the fatality of 2. Mr. Carlisle is under the age who, number one, should not be drinking in the first place, much less drinking, having a blood alcohol level of twice the legal limit, and then making the decision to carry passengers, get behind a wheel of a car, and then drive. People are asking for the aggravated.
Thank you, Ms. Land. And Mr. Carlisle, this is a tragic day, and to the victim's family, the court offers its condolences. Nothing can replace the loss of the two precious girls, Ms. Love and Ms. Lloyd. However, hopefully the victim's family will find closure in the fact that the defendant will go to state prison. And it is a tragedy because the defendant himself is so young. The court finds that the crimes committed against these two innocent young ladies to be egregious and unforgivable. Therefore, it's the ruling of this court that for the crime of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated, I will sentence the defendant to the aggravated term of 10 years state prison, and that order shall be made forthwith. Sir, I wish you the best of luck and will remand you into custody at this time for delivery to the Department of Corrections.
Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, we lost the lives of two of our students here at Carter High School. Danielle Crystal Floyd. Danielle Crystal Floyd lived a simple but fun and loving life. She leaves behind her mother, LaVonda Floyd, her father, Donnell Floyd, and twin brother, Donald Floyd II. Danielle spent the majority of her time at school or work. She was involved in many extracurricular activities. She was a varsity cheerleader, commissioner of Spirit and Assemblies, ASB historian, and an avid student for 7 years. Danielle lived a short but blessed life. She was to graduate May 18, 2010, and intended on attending Cal State San Bernardino. Although Danielle is no longer with us, she will be greatly missed and remembered by many. Right now, I'd like to call to the stage her father, Donnell Floyd.
Excuse me. As I think back over my daughter's life, what brings to mind is when Danielle was 2, her and her brother, actually I was getting ready for work and I heard some rattling in the kitchen and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I go in the kitchen and I see Donnell and Danielle with flour, eggs, mayonnaise all over the place. And I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get mad, but I couldn't because these was my kids. And throughout her life, the different activities and fun things we done was great. But makes me mad. Now, I won't have a chance to walk my baby down the aisle to give her away for a wedding. All because some punk made the wrong decision to get behind the wheel and drink. I ask you guys to think about it before you get behind the wheel. Don't drink, because what happened to my daughter, you can't make this happen to someone else. I can't say that.
Not only will Mr. and Mrs. Floyd not have the opportunity to see their daughter ever again, the same goes for Carmelia Carnisha Love. Carmelia Carnisha Love lived a short life, but a blessed life. She was close to her family and spent every moment with them when she could. If she wasn't with her family, then she was with her girls, the Fab Five, Lexo and Camila. They had a good relationship with each other and were there for each other through thick and thin. Carmelia looked up to her mother, Amelia, and oldest sister, Sharika. Miss Love was very athletic and was captain of the volleyball and basketball team here at Carter High School. She loved school and was close to her teachers, office staff, security guards, and other administrators. She got along with people well and never judged anyone. Carmelia Carnisha Love will never be forgotten. She will always be loved and forever missed. And at this time, I'd like to bring to the stage her mother, Amelia Love.
I'm sorry. I am going to miss Carmelia, and I know a lot of you guys will miss her too. And I just want to say, while you guys are out there, just be smart and think, it's hard. It's really hard, and it's hard on a parent and, a lot of friends. And I'm going to really miss her. I really will miss her. And I just want you guys to be careful, whatever you do, go out there and drinking and driving. Please do not do it, okay? Thanks.
Next, we're going to have a representative from the Rialto Police Department, Lieutenant Joe Cirillo.
Does this come off here?
Good morning. So, on behalf of the police chief, who couldn't be here this morning, he's in Washington, D.C. right now, so he really wanted to be here today, but obviously he had another commitment. This is our 4th year in implementing this program. We started at Eisenhower 4 years ago, and we came back last year, again, back and forth. This program we believe in. On behalf of the police department, we truly believe in this program. It's a very emotional program, and some of you may even feel the impact today. I don't know what I would say if I was a parent of like the ones you just heard from. It's a tough thing to come up here and speak about your loved one. Maybe some of you in the audience here know somebody who's lost a loved one. Maybe in your own family. Maybe somebody in your family has been arrested for driving under the influence. Today's program, and this every 15-minute program, is really about consequences when you make poor decisions, and you've heard that today. We believe in this program. There's a lot of resources, as you can see. Those of you that were out there yesterday saw things. All the folks that came together to put this program together. All of you kids, first of all, okay, the police department, the fire department, which you're going to hear from in a moment, the helicopter, the courts, the hospitals, and not one penny was used or asked to give to put this together. Everybody did this because they believe in you guys and they want to send a message to all of you. Please consider when you make a choice, a poor choice, to get behind the wheel of the car after you've been drinking. First of all, obviously you know you shouldn't drink, but when you decide, when you make that choice, because really the choice is yours, not the person sitting next to you or in front of you or behind you, it's your choice. But when you get behind the wheel of the car after you've been drinking and you decide to drive and you harm somebody, if you could visualize a pond, okay, some of you may have seen this on TV or something like that, visualize a pond. You take a small rock and you throw it in the center of the pond and it ripples. This type of decision when you hurt somebody has that same ripple effect because it not only impacts you, but it impacts your mom and dad, your brothers and your sisters. It impacts your cousins. Everybody that's known you since you were born, it impacts all of them. And that's just you. What about the rest of the people in the car that are with you? What about the people that were killed? Okay? The mom and dad and grandmother and grandpa and aunts and uncles of those people. It just keeps going and going and going. And for those of you who make the decision to get behind the wheel and you cause an accident like this, you saw the young man go to jail for 10 years. You're done. Okay? There's no college. There's no graduation from college. There's no working. There's no family gatherings. There's no nothing for 10 years. And meanwhile, life goes on outside the prison walls with the rest of your family who have to live with this. You have to sit in your cell and live with this decision that you made. Okay? You can never capture those years back. Never. They're forever gone. And so you'll be missing out on a whole lot, folks. Look, we care enough about you to implement this program because we really believe in it. These guys over here on the wall, if you look over here in the uniforms over here, and the guys in the back, and this young man up here, Jerome, they respond. You know, I oversee these guys, but they respond out along with the fire department, okay, because they have a big role in this too. But we go out and we investigate these crimes, you know, with traffic collisions, and we see the tragic things take place, the people that are hurt. I mean, for many, many years, you know, and in a few moments you're going to hear some real life stories here from one of the fire department guys who will share his story about losing a friend, a loved one, because of a drunk driver. Guys, you know what? Many of us are older now. The future is before you. You've got the future right in your hands. We ask you to please make the right choice. Don't be influenced. Be individuals. Be strong enough to make the decision not to be a follower, but be a leader. Make the right choice, because it really is about the big choices. And again, the poor choices, there's consequences behind it. You hurt somebody, you go to jail, you can never get those years back. So thank you very much for being patient and being kind. Thank you.
Next, we're going to have Chief Espinoza, and following him, we're going to have Captain Nash from the Rialto Fire Department coming in order.
Good morning, and you don't have to say good morning back. That's fine. Okay, so you do have to say good morning. Today you're going to have some people talk to you. Fire chief, police lieutenant, fire captain, community leaders, counselors, teachers, people who are involved in putting this program together. But that's what they do. That's what they do in life. But what they are in life are mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles. They're children. They have mothers, and they have fathers. Many of you are here today because this is a mandatory assembly. Some of you are glad to be here today because you're not in class. Others are going to get something out of this. And some people will gain some personal responsibility. Some people will be a good friend. Some people will gain an understanding of what it means to lose a friend. We all have certain responsibilities in life. As a parent, as a brother and sister. Today is about your personal responsibility. And it's just not your personal responsibility when you make certain decisions for yourself, but you're making decisions for others. You're making decisions for people you don't know. You're making decisions as a friend. And I think that's important, because what is a friend? A friend is somebody who is there for you, who'll do what's right for you, who you can rely on and depend on. And so I think the personal responsibility, not only to get behind the wheel if you are not able to drive, is to stop somebody who is your friend from doing the same thing. Drinking is often glorified, sometimes through humor, sometimes through dramatic movies. You see them on TV today. The most popular one, the one that I see on TV a lot, and there's a lot of discussion about, is the milkaholic, Lindsay. Well, it is funny, but there is also a message behind it. And the message behind it is that it's not okay. And that should be the message, that it's not okay. The message is very serious. And I'm glad to see that there was some very serious undertones to this role play. How many people here, and I'm not asking you to raise your hand or to yell out, but how many people here believe that alcohol doesn't change your behavior? That it doesn't change your judgment? That it doesn't change your actions? I think we all know it does. And so, in that responsibility that you have, whether you want it or not, with your friend or with yourself, is a serious responsibility. Drinking can make you feel empowered. Empowered means to do things that you normally wouldn't do. To do things that you're not usually capable of doing. And it is such a phenomenon that people will make excuses for you to make it okay for you. They will lie for you. They will even assist you. And that's not okay. They'll cover for you, for your parents, for school. They'll do anything they can because they're your friend and want to keep you out of trouble. But the idea is that the trouble you'll get in is much more serious than being grounded, losing the keys to the car, not being able to go to the winter formal. It's much more serious than that. You're probably sitting there thinking, it's really easy. You're the fire chief and you have lots of responsibilities and you got to where you are because you've done so many different things. But I too am a father. My wife and I, we have raised 6 kids together. Okay, 3 of mine, 3 are his, or hers. Mine are older. I have a 30-year-old daughter, I have a 27-year-old daughter, and a 23-year-old son. My 27-year-old daughter made a mistake when she was 19. She went out with some friends. Or so I thought they were her friends. And they offered her alcohol. And she drank. And she drove. And she got to an accident. And it was a very serious accident. She totaled her car. She had a person in her car, and she hit another car. Fortunately for her, nobody else was hurt. Nobody was hurt. She wasn't hurt. Unfortunately for her, she was arrested. And she was taken to jail. She spent the night in jail. And she spent a year trying to recover from that mistake she made to get her driver's license back. Now, when I talked to her about it, she has an older sister, and her older sister has 3 children. And I asked her, what would you have done if you found out that somebody hit your older sister with the 3 kids in the car and she broke down in tears crying? She couldn't even answer. She was so upset about that question. Well, today she has kids of her own. And if I were to ask her that question, what would you do if somebody were to hit your car with your kids in it? Would you be sad? Or what would be your response today? Well, we all know she would be very angry. Now that anger has turned into a cycle. She's angry at herself for what she did then, and she'll be angry if it happens to her. I know she is very remorseful. I know she's very, very upset that she was involved in something like that. And it's hard to look back, and you can't change those things. You can't unring a bell once you've already rung it. We all are going to have a different experience from this reenactment, this every 15-minute video we saw. Some people will learn from it. Some people will think about it. Others who participated enjoyed being a part of this program. I wasn't able to be at the role play yesterday with the vehicle accident. I was last year, but I couldn't make it this year. And when I went back to the fire station where I work, I saw the group of role players, the kids that were involved in the vehicle accident yesterday. And I asked, well, who is our victim? And I was being very non-serious about it, very cavalier about it, and the group kind of giggled and laughed, and one girl said, yeah, it's me. And I thought, afterwards, I go, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, here I'm talking to somebody who's role-playing about, being a victim in a car accident and dying. And so it struck me on the way home as I'm driving. And I'm thinking, what can I do? What can I do to prevent someone from having to have to go through this experience? Well, we all know it's difficult to learn from other people's experiences. Parents tell you all the time, don't do this, don't do that. I made that mistake, don't you make that mistake. But it's just parents talking, and they will tell you things all the time. And sometimes we listen, sometimes we don't. It depends on what they're telling us. But I will tell you today, you need to be good friends to each other. You need to watch out for each other in every aspect of life. And this is just one of them. This is a very serious part of our lives that we will not be able to avoid. We will know somebody someday who is going to be arrested for driving while intoxicated. Somebody was in a car accident, injured because of that. Hopefully it's not somebody close to us, but hopefully we can do something about it. And that's what I'm asking you today. Do something about it. Don't allow it to happen. Do what you should do for your friends, and listen to your friends when they ask you not to do the same. Thank you, everybody.
Next, we're going to have Captain Nash come up.
Morning. I want to say thank you to the Rialto School District for letting me share my story today with all of you. I want to thank the Rialto Police Department, City of Rialto, for allowing me to be here today. Let me ask you a couple questions right off the bat. I think Lieutenant Cirillo pointed to it right off the bat, is that everyone in here knows that the drinking age legally in the state of California is 21 years of age, correct? Okay, good. Everybody gets that. That's enough said. Everybody gets that. So really, we're talking about something that might happen in your futures, because if you're following the law, you shouldn't be drinking to begin with, right? Okay. Now, how many also know that when you become of age to drink, you should not drink and drive, correct? All right. How many in here think it's really cool to have a best friend? Raise your hand. Really cool to have a best friend. Some of us know it. I know I have a little 8-year-old girl, got a 9-year-old son, and over the last few years, that terminology, BFF, best friends forever, comes up. And I once had a BFF, and I'm going to share my BFF story with you today. Because I was sitting where you're sitting about 34 years ago in high school, and I had a BFF. His name was Rod. And this is going to be Rod's story that I'm going to share with you today. And more so than just Rod's story, it's going to be about Rod and Donna's story. They were two real good friends of mine. Some of you sitting here today may be able to turn to the left, turn to the right, look behind you, and your best friend is sitting with you in this today. Right? Can any of you look around and see that best friend? Well, that's great. But know this, that if you're that person sitting here today and you have that best friend sitting by you here today, this is kind of probably, my story today is going to impact you. Maybe not as, or more so than you're not in that situation. One second, I got my phone's buzzing. Hold on. Hello? Oh, hey, Rod. Yeah? No, I'm right in the middle of it right now. I'm about to get started. No, I will. I'll tell you a story. I'll talk about Don and you. Yeah. No, I'll talk about bad choices also. I got it. You want me to do what? No, I'll show them. I'll show them where you live. I just brought by your place today. Okay. All right. Miss you. Take care. Hey, Dave, could you put up the picture that I asked you to put? This is where my friend Rod lives today. Cemetery in Rialto. As you can see, he was born in 1959, and he died in 1980. August 20th, 1980. Got the worst phone call in my life, August 21st, 1980, when my other friend Donna, her mom called me that morning, and I was on duty at the Rialto Fire Department the day my best friend died. And sitting there, I heard the broadcast go out to the TC that just occurred on Rialto Avenue, just east of Meridian. And as I sat there in the fire station, and I pondered the thought, why aren't the tones going off in the station? Because I've gone in a ton of different calls, traffic accidents at that particular spot in our city all the time. But for some reason, we didn't get dispatched. I didn't go on this call. But what did happen is that the paramedic from the fire department, the San Diego City Fire Department, who went on this call, he happened to be a paramedic that I trained when it was his time to ride out and learn what a paramedic does. He rode out with me. He's a captain today in San Diego City. His name is Mike Smith. And Mike Smith, Rod, myself, and a lot of other guys in the fire service became real good friends. So that morning, August 21st, my phone rang, and Donna's mom called me and says, hey, and she was in tears, I could tell something bad just happened, and she said, Rod is dead. I said, what? This could be real, and you enter in a whole different world, and everything all of a sudden just slows down. And she said, yeah, I'm sorry, but Rod's dead. And my next question to her was Donna with him? Her daughter. And she says, yes. I says, where's Donna now? She says, she's over at Kaiser Hospital, and she's pretty banged up. And I said, what happened? She said he was in a car accident. And the person that hit him was under the influence. Rod was 21. The guy that hit him was 21. They were legal age. Oh. The bad guy in this scenario wasn't legal age, but he was intoxicated. And I couldn't believe it. So the next thing I did was I called Mike Smith, who I knew was on duty in San Diego City Fire Department that same day that I was, but like I said, I didn't go to this call. I can't tell you why today why I wasn't there, but I wasn't. So I called Mike up on the phone. I said, hey, Mike, got some bad news for you. He said, really, what's that? I said, Rod's dead. Silence. He says, what did you just say? I said, Rod's dead. And it hit him like a ton of bricks. And I said, as a matter of fact, Mike, you were on duty yesterday, right? He's like, yeah, I was on duty. I go, I know where you work, what station you're at. do you recall going in a traffic accident at Rialto Avenue just east of Meridian? He says, yeah, Nash, I was on that call. I says, well, did you realize that you were treating Rod? He's like, you gotta be kidding. He says, that was Rod I was treating? I said, yeah. Hit him like a ton of bricks. To this day, it probably bothers him very much. He recognized, after he started replaying in his mind the accident scene, he realized that the woman who was in the car could only tell him that her name was Donna. And he knew Donna, but their injuries were such that he didn't recognize them. They were hurt pretty bad. And let me tell you, that's very difficult to deal with. Still is to this day that I wasn't on this call, that I probably should have been, that I always was on other calls prior to this one. But for me, when I saw this program come up the first year, and I saw the gentleman who got up and shared his story, his tragic story, and I was sitting in that audience, and I said, I got to share my story. Because where Rod is now, he can't. He's dead and he's gone. But through me, if I have the courage to stand up in front of everyone here and share his story, then that gives his life some meaning. That it was cut short, way too short, but I can come up here and tell you his story, and how it affects me, and how it could affect you. Because like you said, a lot of you in here have that BFF sitting right next to you right now, your best friend. And Rod and I, we had our lives planned out. I married my high school sweetheart, still my wife today. We're going to celebrate 30 years of marriage. Like I said, we've got 2 kids. Been a lot of places for people. We've shared a wonderful life together. But Rod and Donna, that was stripped from them. Their dreams, they were in our wedding. They were part of our wedding party. And they didn't get to have what I've gotten to have. And I passed by Donna's house coming to this event today. She lives about a mile from me. I live out in Ukiah. I probably go into it's a main road. I pass by her house 4 to 6 times probably each day. And every time I pass by Donna's house, I always think of Rod. And in driving to this event today, I thought, maybe someday I'll be able to approach Donna and bring her here to talk to all of you. And she can really tell you from her perspective how a drunk driver changed her life forever. Like I think Lieutenant Cirillo was saying to you, it's all about choices. Life is all about choices, good choices and bad choices. You have the choice. You have the power to make the right choice. Like all of you said, the drinking age is 21. So this really shouldn't affect you at this point. But when you do turn 21 and you are legal to drink, I want you to think back to this day that you attended today. And remember, in the honor of my friend Rod, this happened to him, he lost his life. Think back to this day and say, is this a good choice or a bad choice? You shouldn't be drinking, getting behind the wheel and driving. Now, you heard, I think, in the presentation that once you are 21, what is the legal limit? 0.08, right? 0.08. Some of you probably don't realize, but as a firefighter, my limit's lower. My limit is 0.04. So if I take a drink of alcohol, I've got to realize that I'm half of what the common citizen can have, or I can lose my license. So drinking and driving, hopefully you never are in that situation. If you are, look again to the side. That best friend is sitting with you right now. You may cause an accident, lose your life. Some other person, like in my situation, may have made a bad choice and took the life of my friend, might be your friend that's gone. So I want you to remember this day that I have experienced this. It's brought me a lot of pain in my life. I haven't even talked about this for 20-some years until that first year. I saw that other gentleman at Eisenhower talk about his situation, and I thought, wow, this is a way I can tell this guy's story, Rod's story behind me, and get the word out that it's just wrong, I think that all of us realize that it's fun to be with our friends, it's fun to party, but again, there's a legal drinking age. Shouldn't drink till you're 21. And if you do drink when you're 21, make certain that you don't get behind the wheel and drive. Maybe you should call that best friend in that example and say, hey, I think I should be I've been drinking, can you come get me? There's always that happening. I've got, like I said, a 19-year-old son at home, and I tell him, son, when you're 21 and you think you drink too much, no matter where I'm at, you call me, and I'll come get you. No problem. I think some of you can probably find those same relationships with the person that's in this room today being your best friend, calling that person to help you out in those situations. Please, whatever you do, don't drink and drive. Don't get behind the wheel after drinking. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is going to be Kent Taylor, the area director for the Rialto School District.
Just wanted to talk to you real briefly. On behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Sebrin, I'm here to speak with you this morning. Unfortunately, he could not attend, but he wanted to send his regards in terms of every 15 minutes and how important it is to your future and vital decisions that you make that will impact you and the lives of others. Before I go too far, I want to congratulate our partners, the City of Rialto, the Police Department, under the Chief Kling. Let's give them a round of applause. Also with that, our other partner of the City of Rialto, the Chief Espinosa for the Fire Department. Let's give them a round of applause. In addition to that, I want to recognize the administration here at Carter High School, and let's give them a round of applause too. I just wanted to say a few brief words, and hopefully it will impact your lives. As seniors, we know this. It's about how you believe in yourself and how your life counts to you. It's a matter of perspective in terms of how you view yourself. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see the successful 20 you? Do you see the successful 22 you? Do you see the successful 24 you? And so on. You've got to be able to see it. And understand this, that there are people around you who see that in you, especially your parents, your guardians, your friends, and so forth. And it's around about this time as we journey on to graduation is this. You will see your parents. They'll kind of look at you a little bit longer, and you'll kind of wonder, what is that all about? Because they see the 20 you. They see the 24 you. They see the successful you in your future. And so when you notice that they're looking at you that way, embrace it. And same with that, teachers, your administrators here, your teachers, your counselors, all the staff people at Carter High School, they look at you the same way. Because with that, they know that you'll be successful in the future. It's the 20 you. It's the 22 you. It's the 24 you. You've got to be able to take that along with the view that you have of yourself and become successful. And what is this all about? The 15 minutes is about you making right decisions and choices that impact you. And remember this, your right decisions as far as the 15 minutes of deciding not to drink and drive. Remember this, the 20 you, the 22 you, and the 24 you, there is dependent upon that. Thank you.
In closing, for our closing comments, we're going to have Ms. Lembrook and Ms. Foote come up and give our closing comments.
Hold on before you guys go to lunch. Ms. Foote and I just wanted to close by saying, please remember students, especially with prom coming up, it is imperative that you guys make the right choices. Now, I'm also a parent. My daughter recently graduated from high school. So I want you guys to know I also speak to you as a parent. And my message to her was, and I'm thankful she never did drink and drive, if it does happen, designate a driver. Because that's one message you guys need to clearly understand. If you do make a choice to drink, and when I'm not advocating that you do, because I'd much rather prefer that you didn't, you must find somebody to drive you home that has not been drinking. Because your parents would much rather be mad at you for drinking than get a phone call or a message saying you've been in an accident, you're injured, or worse. So remember, make the right choices, and if you do drink, find someone that can drive you home, or call your parents. They will get out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning to come get you, trust me, they will.
And I also want to just really quickly again remind you guys that drinking and driving takes lives, but so does distracted driving. Okay, I want to remind you about Ricky Morin, our student that was distracted crossing the street using his cell phone, he was texting. He was hit by a car and he was killed. So anytime you're around moving vehicles, any kind of distraction can be dangerous. So, a reminder, be safe. We don't want to have to pull out a yearbook 3 years from now and look at your picture and go, oh yeah, do you remember? I heard that young person was killed. Oh, God. Do you remember? I think he was in this man's English class. God, he was bright. We don't want to do that. We do it too often. We don't want to do it with this graduating class. Okay? So on that note, fourth period or lunch.